Hi, I'm Eileen Roche, founder of Designs of Machine Embroidery, and I am thrilled that you're here with me today. We have a really exciting program. This episode of Between Friends is all about embroidered handbags, but really the focus is on Sallie Tomato's handbags. Oh, she's a master at designing handbags, and we've partnered with her with a beautiful embroidery collection. And so I have some help with me today. We have a message from Jess at Sallie Tomato. We're going to meet Ashley Jones and Sue Brown of OML Embroidery, because towards the end of the broadcast today, we'll be revealing the free on the house weekly design. But at the end of the month today, we have a free project. And of course, it's going to be Halloween themed, because here we are just about to roll into October. So how do you get started on designing handbags? Well, you have to have some concepts at hand first, right? So I'm going to allow my good friend Jess Barrera to share some of her thoughts on how we got started on doing this whole process, because she's been an embroiderer for quite a while, but she'll tell you that it's been difficult to find the right embroidery designs for handbag embellishment. So let's go ahead and hear from Jess.
Hello, and welcome to the Sallie Tomato Embellished Handbag virtual event. I'm Jess, the founder of Sallie Tomato, and I'm so proud that we are debuting our first ever embroidery designs collection with Dime. I've had the pleasure of working with Eileen over the years through Facebook Live events, our annual New Year's Eve sew-along party, and also developing the Sallie Tomato pressing station. So when we decided to collaborate on an embroidery designs collection, it was truly a dream come true. I've done embroidery for years, but it's difficult to find designs that are specific for bags. So that's why I am so thrilled to be sharing this collection with you. We drew inspiration from Art Deco and traditional folk art designs for a timeless combination of designs to choose from. This collection has a great mix of motifs and continuous embroidery designs to embellish your handmade projects specifically how you'd like them. Position border designs, quilting designs, and various motifs for endless combinations. While developing this collection, we made sure it would be versatile enough to apply to many different bag patterns. But to get you started, I've designed 2 exclusive patterns only available at Dime. The first project is the Ella Wristlet. Add the border designs or motifs to the wristlet panels or strap. This pattern calls for faux leather or cork fabric, so you'll learn tips for embroidery on those types of materials as well. The second project is the Natalie Shoulder Bag, which you can wear over the shoulder or also create a crossbody strap, so you can wear it 2 different ways. The bag is ideal for continuous quilting designs, wider borders, narrow strap embellishment, and even feature motifs on the optional front pocket for a truly one-of-a-kind bag. Any way that you choose to use these designs will elevate your handmade projects, and we cannot wait to see your custom creations. If you like these bag designs featured in the event, I encourage you to check out the rest of our pattern line and top quality bag making supplies. We offer the highest quality purse hardware, zippers, and fabrics for professional results that can all be used with your home sewing machine. We are so excited that you're here for this event and want to thank you for joining us today. Enjoy the event!
Oh, isn't she just delightful, Jess? Boy, you know, she looks like she's 14, but she's been in this industry for quite a while now, and she brings a breath of fresh air to it. You know, I'm reading your comments. So many of you love embellishing on straps. Kathy Radish, I agree. It is a great way to embellish a strap without a lot of decoration. Sometimes just the strap itself is enough to, as Jess said, elevate a handbag. You know, I want to say a shout out to Judy Whitaker, who's watching from Northport, Florida, down there where they have just suffered some devastating hurricane experience. Some people have damage, others are unscathed. So glad to have you with us, Judy, and we're really happy to know that you are well. So many of you are tuning in for from the OML gang. I see Chris Yost. I know that name is part of definitely part of the gang. And TJ Tech says that, you know, the Sue Brown has been one of her best new discoveries on YouTube. So you're going to love it when we bring her in a little while. And Dawn Tennyson, you enjoy making bags and pouches, but I don't blame it. I don't blame you. I love it too. You know, it's a small canvas. It's not as big as a quilt. You don't have to worry about it fitting your form, your figure, right? So handbags are very forgiving for sure. And they're just a great place to add beautiful embroidery. Yeah, and let's see, Sharon, you say you have my sister in all of our thoughts. And so I'll just tell you, I have two sisters down in Southwest Florida, and they are both fine. They have experienced minimal damage, and everybody's fine. So thankfully, thank to God for sure. Okay, so where were we? Well, we were talking about Jess and her beautiful handbags. So how about if I just share with you how this whole concept can come to life? Because, you know, it's a little complicated, right? There's so many details. There's what kind of designs will we design, and what kind of handbags are they going to go on? So that's really where we started. Jess sent me some ideas on what she would like to fill a shape with, like the bag body itself. And this was just an image that she sent, kind of a modern feel there. And then she also sent this imagery, which is more of an Art Deco design flavor. So, okay, that was good to know. And then from there, we finalized the artwork, keeping in mind, like these two bags, the images, you know, that we had, just ideas that we found out on the web. This is a great way to communicate with somebody. It doesn't mean we're going to knock that off exactly, but it's just giving us a general feel as to what the final bags may look like. So with that in mind, I then drew some of these handbag sketches and sent it to Jess with the digitized embroidery designs in place on the bag. So, you know, we had a lot of fun with it. We have a floral collection, an arrow collection, because in the Sallie Tomato collection, there are actually 5 mini collections, because we have to think about the different areas of a bag that you want to embellish. You have the big canvas, right? The bag body. We often have a horizontal border, and a strap is a long vertical border. Now we say it's vertical. I mean, it goes over your shoulder, so it, you know, goes in all kinds of directions, but basically it's a vertical border, and it will be continuous most likely, because, you know, the hoops get bigger and bigger, but most straps are 27 inches. So probably, you know, you probably don't have a hoop that big. I know I don't. Okay, so the hexing. Oh, I love this little mini combo. It has, I love the quilting on that. Now, you're kind of seeing it. It's a little more intense in this imagery than you're seeing here. But so just imagine if we stitched that quilting in black thread, or maybe a dark gray, something that just lightly contrasted with that black bag. It would add texture and yet let the border and the strap be the star. So, you know, color selection is important too when you're actually at the machine. And here we have the cane. I named this the cane because it looks like the cane backing, you know, that wicker weave that we often see in furniture. That's just what it reminded me of. And I love the little satin diamonds that fill the borders, both the vertical and the horizontal. They're just really nice, really, really nice. So let's see, what was the name of the crossbody that Jess talked about? She was talking about the Natalie. Oh, and we are going to show you the Natalie. We're going to show you all of those beautiful. There's two patterns from Jess. 2 patterns, but one of them is in 2 colorways. So anyway, let's take a look at the diamond. Very elegant, very, very elegant. Again, you know, the imagery that you see here is highly contrasting, and I do that on purpose when I'm communicating with a designer so they can really see the design without stitching it out, right? We're just trying to convey ideas before we get to the stitching. So speaking of the stitching, when it came time to really create these designs and finalize them, I realized that continuous embroidery, specifically the continuous quilting, would be a really important feature that many embroiderers who buy this collection are going to want to be able to master easily. So I brought in Ashley Jones, who's one of our in-house educators, and she is a very creative digitizer in the sense that, she really likes to keep the customer in mind and the user, like you and me, right? How are we going to do this? What's our experience at the machine going to be like? So I'm going to bring in Ashley Jones so she can tell you a little bit more about it. She came up with a really great technique on how to do this continuous quilting. So, hello, Ashley. How are you?
Hi, Eileen. Thank you for having me. And this is definitely a fun subject to talk about. I think we all enjoy embellishing our handbags and really making them our own and adding personal touches.
Absolutely. It's great to have you here. And, for those of you who are watching, Ashley is in Key Largo, Florida today. She has survived Hurricane Ian, and you're doing well. You have power, you have internet. Yep. So, woohoo, we're happy.
Yep. All good here. Even the sun came out for a little bit today. So it's a nice ending to some bad weather.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So,
since you mentioned the quilting, Eileen, I do have my, one of the designs up that I can talk about, what we added to make that process, easier. And then we can show you some samples of that. So, edge to edge quilting, it's one of our most popular topics, right, Eileen?
Absolutely.
Everybody loves the idea of, or not even the idea, but the actual act of quilting with their embroidery machine and being able to link up embroidery designs. Well, these designs are no different. They really make a beautiful end-to-end, edge-to-edge, all-over quilting pattern when they're linked up. And I've got one here on the screen. I'm just in my software for visual purposes. But the idea is that, if you can get these connected, it's going to look like the same, the quilting never stopped and started. So if any of you guys out there have ever done edge to edge quilting, you know that you're linking up one point that's usually, a run stitch ending and then the next one beginning of the next design. But in these designs, they are a little more advanced. And so we have not just one point that we need to connect, but we want each of these points of these quilting designs to connect. So my idea was that if we had a line that allowed us to advance through the quilting, and if it would stop at each one of those connection points at the embroidery machine, I could advance and I could check my placement with my needle down and just double check that. So I'm going to simulate that with my slow redraw here. And so the quilting design will stitch. So your first quilting design, I started in the upper, corner of my piece of handbag fabric. Since it's not a really big piece of fabric, I wasn't really concerned with starting in the middle. And then the next design that I want to connect, depending on which side you start, is either going to be on the right or the left. But then when you connect several, you're going to eventually be connecting across the bottom or the top. So I created this specific run stitch that we included in the design that would stop at every single connection point. So at the embroidery machine, you can select the line that's on the side you're trying to connect. You can use your keys on your embroidery machine to advance through this line. And when it gets to that connection point, that's where you would stop and lower your needle and just double check that it's going to connect with the previous design. This is not a line that we would stitch. It is merely to be able to check these connection points. Because if you were to advance through this whole design, that point, it might be stitch number 61, then stitch number 110. You don't want to have to skip through all that. So, and the same concept is true with the left, the right, the top, and the bottom. Each of the designs the lines are colored differently so that you can skip ahead to those on your embroidery machine. And it just allows you to check those connection points before you actually take a stitch. So, pretty straightforward, I think. What do you think, Eileen?
Yeah, I love this. So Ashley, what we're really telling them is at the machine, you're going to advance through the design. You'll stitch that first beautiful quilting design, right? And then rehoop, repositioning your fabric. And then when you advance through that color, you're going to just go like stitch to stitch.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can drop your needle if you want, but you don't have to. You're just checking that it's going to connect the new design to the old design at each point of the diamond. Love that. Judy Winter says, great idea.
Thanks, Judy.
Says, sounds so easy. Yeah.
Right. And so, and it definitely, it just made my, the actual work at the embroidery machine, easier. So, because what I usually do, and I know you use your templates too, Eileen, because it just makes the process simpler. So I stitched this design first here in the top corner. And then with my printed template, I can actually connect those points. Just the template is basically acting as a visual of where I want the next design to go. And it allows me to connect them. And then that shows me where to place my hoop. So I would put my hoop here and then I can center my needle. But when you do this, if you're not perfectly straight in the hoop, or, you know, if you didn't get it perfectly centered with the design, you know, you may be one stitch off here, here, and here. So when you choose, like in this case, I need to connect on the left. So I would choose this red color on my embroidery machine. I know you can't see it on the template, but the left placement line is red. So I would choose the red color on my embroidery machine. And then I would use my my feature on my machine where you can advance through the stitches. And then when I skip ahead to stitch number 1 on the red, it goes right up there. And then I could advance through and it lands right here. So I can check every one of those connections that my needle is going to connect. And if it doesn't, I usually just slightly adjust my fabric, you know, kind of scoot it over in the hoop and just make sure it's perfect. And then once I get that,
you're going to be the snap hoop monster. So it's going to be really easy to just lift that top frame and just move that fabric ever so slightly, right?
Right. Absolutely. And here's my, just to kind of simulate, here's my frame. So I would, you know, I would check these points, and if it didn't, I could lift that frame there and just kind of slide my fabric, you know, and adjust it. And so it just gives me the ability to connect all those points easily, and also make sure that, you know, it looks like one continuous quilting design. So that's kind of what I've done on this piece here.
I mean, it's flawless. It's just beautiful.
So yeah, it was just a way to kind of make the process at the machine quicker and easier, because as we, you know, use our designs, we know that if you need to check the connection at stitch number 163, you know, that's going to take you some time to get to 163. Right. So it was just a way to make sure that you could check those points quickly.
So it's a good idea to use a hoop that's a little bit bigger than the design, right? You want to leave yourself a little wiggle room. Always when you're quilting with your embroidery machine, just makes it less stressful.
Absolutely. I definitely agree with that. So, but, you know, for handbag quilting, Eileen, so for that one, I didn't resize the design, and I used about 6 hoopings to quilt that section of fabric. And then I cut my pattern out of that, which we will see here on the Natalie. So the quilting I have is on the Natalie. Maybe I should go to that first instead of the Ella. What do you think?
Absolutely.
So
let's do that.
Let me do a quick switch, and then I can walk through that. So that pattern that Jess was talking about, that you guys were asking in the chat, is the Natalie. This was a pattern that Jess and Eileen collaborated, and this is an exclusive dime pattern at this time. So if you want to stitch the Natalie, you can get that pattern from us here at Dime. But it's a hobo style bag that is, you know, it's a blank canvas, right, Eileen, for putting all kinds of embroidery. Right. So the front here,
on a plain fabric, it could be boring, you know, so adding all this beautiful texture is just awesome.
Yeah, and so here we've got a combination of quilting and one of those beautiful border designs that, Eileen, you were talking about, that you and Jess came up with those ideas. And so we've combined them here. And then also on the back, Natalie has an optional exterior pocket, but the bag was quilted with that cane design that you were talking about. I love how that looked. This is a kind of a light colored thread on this darker fabric so that the quilting really pops.
Absolutely. It totally changes that fabric.
Right. Part of the embellishment there. And then look at that beautiful embroidery on the strap there. That's the matching strap design to the cane quilting. Very nice. And just turned out beautiful, right?
Just gorgeous. You know, and often in quilting, we select the same color thread as the base, but this contrast really works. I like it. You want to take a look at the kit? Shall we do that next?
Yeah, absolutely. And I've got a couple of other samples too that I can show. So while you're getting up for the kit, I just want to say that the Natalie does have a long crossbody strap and also the short, so it's very versatile. The pocket you saw on the back is optional. Comes with this beautiful optional instructions for making this tassel. There's pockets on the inside, a zipper pocket as well as a slip pocket. Beautiful faux leather accents on these bags, and adding those purse feet really are going to elevate the look of your bag. So, so before you do the kit, Eileen, I'll show the other examples so they'll be able to see what the finished one looks like for those kits. So this is one of the kits that we have here, this beautiful beige fabric with that beautiful focal point that Eileen was talking about. And since we left off on the quilting, I definitely wanted to show you this. Like you mentioned, Eileen, the contrasting thread, and that's, you know, definitely what we did here. Look at that hex quilting. This is definitely one of my favorite ones. I love how the hexagon quilting came out, the optional pocket, adding that beautiful embroidery there. And you don't have to add that pocket if you don't want. And let me show you one more example here before Eileen does the kit. So this one here was one of my favorite. This is a charcoal color fabric with that beautiful embroidery focal center point there. And this one has the matching embellished strap as well, that continuous embroidered strap. And then on the back, this is that exact quilting design that I was just showing in my example, that diamond pattern. So the back of my bags, Eileen, I did a different design than I did on the front, because then your bag it's kind of reversible. Like you can spin it around and use the back or the front. So
right, like if you're wearing a garment that doesn't go with the embroidery on the other embellished side, then you just, you know, use this quilted side out, shall we say? Right?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So, but yeah, those are my examples. All great examples of things that you can make. And, you know, and I know you've got some kits you're going to show them, Eileen, and who doesn't love a kit, right? Where you get everything in one bag and you just get right to the fun stuff.
Absolutely. So let's take a look. So here's the Natalie, and this is all the goods. So it's a nice, big, heavy bag. Let's open it up, and I'll show you everything that's in here. So first off, we're going to have the 1/3 of a yard of the contrast fabric. So this is for the straps and the outline of the pocket, and this is a faux leather. So you're going to get a 1/3 yard of 25 inches wide. You'll get your zipper that's long enough for the opening of the bag and also the interior pocket. And the hardware. Oh, you know, Jess is known for her hardware. You know, this is kind of like opening up a jewelry box, right? You have all these goodies. So let's look in here. This tiny little bag features the Tassel Keeper, and you would add this to the side of the bag. And here is the lock that will attach it to the actual bag itself. And then over here in this little baggie are the feet, and, you know, there's the parts that make them work, right? Then also we have that handmade metal label that you can put onto the bottom of the bag. Jess, I see, does that on all of her handbags now. I mean, why not be proud of the fact that you made that bag and apply that metal tag? I just love it. Okay, so let's put this back in its proper place. See if we can make that happen. Of course we can't. We missed the whole bag. That's okay. But there's other goodies. Here we have strap hardware. I'm going to put this in here. I'm pretty sure that all goes together in there. And the strap hardware. And also those donut zipper pulls. I love them. They are kind of a fancy zipper pull. So let's take a look at them first. Just open that up. Kind of. Well, I didn't realize that was stapled, but that keeps it all together. And look at these. These are the zipper pulls, and they have a little hole. So she calls them the donut zipper pulls. I think that's appropriately named. And they're bulky enough so that when you go to grab it, you really have something in your hand and you'll be able to open up your bag very easily. So we just put those all aside for now. And then, of course, you're going to have the 1 inch wide hardware for the strap. Now, this is a swivel hook that will attach to the bag, and that's how you will, get that strap on there. But let's take a look. Of course, you're going to have a printed pattern. That's going to be inside. You'll open up this envelope, and all of Jess's great instructions are on there. You also have a list of the products that you need to make the bag, although everything is in the kit. But when you want to make a second one, you'll know what you need to buy. Now, for the outer bag, we have a 1/2 yard of this beautiful fabric, and it's cotton, but it's not a quilting cotton. It has a nice body to it. It's more like a linen. It's just lovely. And then we have some interfacing that we'll add to create a little bit more body to the bag, and lining, and also some sew-in batting. Everything you need is right here in this kit. So you won't have to go shopping. You won't have to, spend any time digging around for all the right tools. So I'm going to put this in a safe place over here on the side. And then I want to show you that we have the very same contents in the Natalie, just with different colors. So now we have that beautiful beige, that neutral color that is just gorgeous with all types of garments that you'll wear. This time we have silver hardware and silver zippers. Now, these zippers look like they're heavy metal, but look how fluid they are because they're not metal, they're nylon. So they're comfortable next to the skin. They're so easy to wear and easy to use. And then all that very same hardware that we just saw in the other version of the Natalie bag is right here, and it's all in the silver or brushed stainless, I guess. Its contrasting faux leather is in the same, tan beige family. So that's going to create a really lovely accent. Not a lot of contrast in color, but definitely in sheen. Here we have a flat, and this is a little bit more of a shine because it's a faux leather. I think you're going to just love making these bags. Of course, you're also going to get that pattern. That's going to be inside, same pattern, nothing different between the two kits, just that they are different colorways. So I'm going to put this all back.
Different color, and the hardware color matches the bag pattern as well. The nice thing about the beige color, I think, Eileen, is you have so much room for colorful embroidery because it's a really nice neutral base that you could pretty much incorporate any color embroidery with, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. So, Jess showed it in kind of those warm pastel colors of her floral embellishment that she had on that bag. But if you're somebody who likes earth tones or even brights, then that beige would be the way to go.
Absolutely.
It's hard to choose between the two, frankly. I like them both for sure.
It definitely is. And I think that, you could add those spring colors to the beige if you want, or like you said, fall colors. It really could go anytime. But it's also a lighter color for spring and summer, and the darker color could be your winter and fall bag. So I think that it warrants both bags, Eileen. I really think it does. So.
And, it's such a trend to wear nude colored footwear, right?
Yes.
Kind of skin tone. Well, the same with the bag. That would, it's kind of timeless. You wear that all year round.
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely agree. So we had some really nice comments that I marked up there too. People asking about the different fabrics and the tassel. Somebody commented that Dawn said she loved the tassel, Eileen, and I definitely agree. The tassels were so fun to make. There's no sewing involved. You take a piece of the faux leather, and the instructions are on Sallie Tomato's website, but you cut these little 1/8 or 1/4 inch, whichever you prefer, and then it just slips into this little tassel cap here. And then there's a screw. I know it's really small on the screen there, but the screw goes right into it and holds it in place. And then I did do a little glue for security, but I mean, that was just so fun. I mean, you could just sit in front of the television or listening to something and just cut tassels all day long.
Yeah, tassels are really fun. They sure
Yeah,
are. And
adds a
they
nice
add
embellishment.
such a fun embellishment to a handbag.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you mentioned the donut holes zipper pulls. You could hook the tassel to that, or either, on the side, whichever you prefer. I have it on the donut hole of the zipper pull on one of mine. So that's another great use of those zippers.
And of course, we're showing the tassel quite long, but it doesn't have to be. It could be 2 inches. You want to make sure that it's in scale with the tassel head, the cap, but doesn't have to be that long for those of us who, don't want something real long swinging off their bag. Yeah, really well done, Jess Ferreira. It's beautiful. So I know a lot of people like smaller bags, right? Or maybe they want to get their feet wet with a smaller bag. So you have some, the Ella kit to share with, or, sample first before we show the kit.
I do. And I am a fan of the Ella, Eileen, because I usually carry just like a wallet and some cards unless I'm going on a longer trip. And then I put this wristlet inside of my Natalie bag. But it really enjoyed doing this. It has the same thing. You've got the option for the tassel, the wristlet, so that, you can securely carry the Ella. But the Ella has room for beautiful embroidery. You can see here I added, this is a faux leather that we embroidered on. It's the same faux leather that accents the bottom of the Natalie bag on the beige color bag. So really nice neutral color. Again, those faux metal zippers from Sallie Tomato. And there's a front smaller pocket on Ella, and then a larger pocket on the Ella bag. And inside the larger pocket, there's a slip pocket, and then some card slots as well. And believe it or not, this bag is all sewn flat because the faux leather does not fray. You actually assemble it flat, and it turned out gorgeous. And it's really a fun, easy pattern that you can add your embroidery embellishment to, but it's nice to go inside of your larger Natalie bag or to be carried all by itself. And I have another version here where we used a little bit different embroidery design. And look at that embroidery on the strap. So this is about a 12 or 13 inch long strap. So you may have a hoop that's long enough for that. But if you do need to do continuous embroidery, I've got a video we're going to see about that in just a bit. But again, beautiful hardware for this example here. And then Eileen, we have a kit for the Ella, right, in the beige.
Yes. So the Ella comes in the beige, and I think the idea for that is because it goes with both bags, right? And it's something that you would carry on its own, or you would carry, place it inside the Natalie. So of course it comes with Jess's beautiful instructions, and this time it's not in an envelope because it's not that involved, right? It's just a two-sided piece of paper, but all of her illustrations are always so clear, very well written, easy to understand, and easier to follow for sure. So you are going to get a 1/3 yard of the 25-inch wide faux leather with matching 7-inch zippers. And the hardware that you'll receive in this kit is all of these fun things. You're going to get the tassel cap with the swivel top lobster claw to add to your bag. And then this finishes the end of the strap, the wristlet strap. And of course, 2 of those donut hole zipper tabs. I love it. Just beautiful. Her hardware is gorgeous. It has the most beautiful sheen, and it's durable, easy to use. All of the pieces are always right there where you need it. And again, you're going to have those beautiful zippers that are nylon, and yet they look like they are heavy metal, and they are not. They're soft and flexible, easy to use, and even more comfortable to carry. So we just love those Ella kits. So many people are asking, does the Natalie come in different colors? So the Natalie comes in the 2 colors. It has the gray with the black zipper and gold hardware. And then the other version is the beige and silver hardware. So let me go ahead and pull that out so you can see. These are the 2 versions, one or the other. And when you go to buy a high-end handbag, many of them come in very neutral colors, right? Because you have to think about, well, what am I going to be wearing when I carry these handbags? So often, high-end handbags are just offered in rather neutral colors so that, you get more use out of it. It's not just a special occasion bag. And you're going to pour your heart and soul into making these kits up into beautiful bags. So you'll want to make sure that it's something you can carry every day for sure. Beautiful, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I've really enjoyed making them. Been a lot of fun.
Yeah. Ann Philbick says she loves that the hardware comes with it. She could never pick that out. Well, and it's also, and where do you get it? And right. Do you have all the pieces that match so you can do the entire bag? Sometimes you can just find the zippers, sometimes just the zipper pulls, and hardly ever the feet in the matching color, that you want for the bag. So that's always been my experience. But Jess at Sallie Tomato, they handle it all. And they're all in those bags. You're not going to have, you don't need anything else. The interfacing is in there. Now you'll need some stabilizer, and you're going to need that beautiful embroidery collection. So let's take a little closer look at that. What do you say, Ashley?
That sounds good. Let's do it. Okay. And so on the other designs, so Eileen will show you the whole collection in a moment, but the other thing that's important included in these designs are these placement marks when you want to make a long continuous embroidery design. So a couple of people have asked about the embroidery on the straps, and so the straps are the faux leather accents in both of the kits. It has all of the fabric to create the straps out of the faux leather accent. So we embroidered these designs on the faux leather. Now for this example here, the diamond, I want to just show you, so these placement marks, do you see how this diamond design kind of goes past my placement marks? That's because each of these overlap. So the placement is crucial. You don't want to just, line those up at the very end. So I'm going to get them lined up here, and then I'll zoom out so we can see. But those marks are meant so that the design looks like it just continues to stitch without you actually stopping. So since we're here, let's talk about like how we would actually connect a continuous embroidery design. So on the straps, we embroidered these designs several times to get a full length, like 27-inch design. So you want to use adhesive stabilizers the easiest. You need a marking pin, the fabric that you're going to be stitching on, hoop, and then the embroidery design that includes those placement marks is going to be the easiest. And then you want to mark your center line and then hoop your fabric on your adhesive stabilizer. And so you're going to stitch the entire design on your fabric in that first location. That center line is going to help you make sure that you stay straight in the hoop so that your design continues down your fabric exactly straight. So after the first design stitches, you'll have placement marks at the bottom and the top of the design, and then you're going to remove this from the hoop. So I know this seems scary, but I promise it's going to line up. And then look at, I'm using my sticky hoop, and I'm just putting that stabilizer right back on the back of it. And then when I back at my machine for the second hooping, I actually stitch the placement marks on the stabilizer only. That actually makes lining this up really easy. So then back at my hooping area, I'm going to line those marks up with those. But hey, when I put that down, I can't even see what's going on underneath. So enter the PAL light. So we have our new PAL 3 light that I love. It illuminates the marks in the center of the hoop. So when I place my fabric down, you can see the light is always on top. So that allows me to get it perfectly straight in the hoop so that when I head back to the embroidery machine and I press the start for the next design, look how perfectly that lines up. So this is a really simple task. You can do this in small increments or as long as you want. If you have a really long hoop, you can do 2 hoopings, but if you only have a 4x4, you could do this multiple times, and then look how gorgeous it looks. So you would just repeat it as many times as you need to get the length of the design that you need. So those placement marks are basting stitches, so they do come out of your fabric once you're done stitching. So just like you see here, they're basting stitches, you would just pull those out. Now, one tip would be if you're stitching on faux leather, Eileen, I'm not sure if everybody knows this, but those needle marks don't go away in the faux leather. So in reality, I might skip the placement marks. And what I probably would do is I would probably print a template like we did with the quilting. And then you could place that down, and that's going to help you get it marked. And then you can check that point up there. So just remember faux leather, cork, things like that. Once you put a needle through it, that hole is there permanently.
It's permanent. It's permanent. Yeah. It's an eyelet.
It is an eyelet. I love that. Yeah. It's, once you mess up, it's a design element, right, Eileen? I think I learned that from you.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Embrace asymmetrical design. Okay, absolutely. So let's take a look at those designs under the camera. We printed out a catalog of them so you can take a look at, here's the arrow. Remember that beautiful embroidery that was on the center of the bag? This is the main element, and it's you just repeat that in your software, and then she added another border, flanked it on both sides, and so forth. And then here we have the cane. This is the vertical strap, the horizontal strap, the quilting, and here we have diamond, the floral, and we have a mini flowers that decorate that Ella pattern, and then single medallions, like a large medallion. Oh, and I can show you that. I've stitched that out. I'll show you that in a moment. And then here we have the hexie and the lattice. Oh, I just love all these. Here, let me show you. I stitched it out in Kingstar Metallic on cork, so you could see what that beautiful floral design would look like if it was stitched in one color. And, I love it on that cork because, many cork fabrics have a metallic, feature in it. And when you pair that with beautiful Kingstar metallic thread, well, that's a winning combination.
That's gorgeous. That to me looks like an elegant holiday party bag in the making.
Yeah. So let's take a look at, this is the floral pattern. You can barely see it. So when I turn it on its side, look at the texture. Now I stitched this with our Sew Any Shape foam, which is that beautiful dimensional foam that we use to line or interface handbags. So you now on this angle, you can see the texture that's involved, right? But the thread that I chose is the same color. Look at the different look you get when I stitched it in just a couple shades darker than that light pink. Now we have both. We have color and contrast. Well, we have contrast and we have texture. So, I just love that. And it feels so good. I have all these little bumps that rise up to meet my fingertips. I love that. And here's that diamond. Look at this. Oh, isn't that elegant, Ashley? That's beautiful. The diamond that you stitched on the beige bag, I think, right?
On the charcoal one on the back. Yeah, I used black thread on the gray, but that actually is beautiful. That's tone on tone, right?
Yeah, and I did. Ella Bly is asking, did we use exquisite thread? Always. It's the only thread that we use, unless I'm going metallic, and then that is Kingstar. So yeah, this is all the embroidery that you have seen here on Between Friends is exquisite thread. Aren't they fun though? So many fun ways to embellish a handbag. And one of our friends was talking about, neutral bags and so forth. I guess you could add color with the embroidery. And that's your answer for sure. I mean, you have a whole wall of thread. I have 288 colors over there, and I could make those designs in any of those combinations.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. I did see a question earlier. I'm not sure where it went, Eileen, but somebody asking about can you use marine vinyls in bag too? Yes, you can. I think I just found it. And so the marine vinyl you can use in a bag. I will tell you though, Sallie Tomatoes faux leather, it is like butter compared to marine vinyl. Marine vinyl is, pretty stiff as far as the texture goes. Yeah. But that faux leather, Eileen, doesn't it just feel like very soft? It feels very close to real leather.
Let me take that under the camera. So it has a cloth backing. And, unlike marine vinyl, which is normally, vinyl kind of on both sides all the way through, right? This has this really soft, and look how softly that rolls, right? Marine vinyl doesn't really want to do that. It has good weight to it, has good body, but not so much that, it's going to be stiff and rigid in a handbag. My test of a handbag, am I going to fall in love with this handbag or not, is the weight of the bag. And it's all about the fabrics and materials that you choose. And this will not add much weight to a handbag. I don't want a heavy handbag. I don't want a rigid handbag. I'm a fabric person. I'm all about that soft, beautiful texture that we're used to all the time, for sure.
Right. And we put so much stuff in there. We don't need the fabric to add weight, right?
Right.
And so Eileen, Nancy Taylor said, what kind of stabilizer do we use on the faux leather? And so for the sample that I was showing under the camera, I'm not sure if she asked when we were showing that, but I had pre-cut my pattern shapes, Eileen. So I actually used our sticky hoop and placed that down on the sticky hoop. Right.
Okay.
And so the adhesive stabilizer, our pill and stick, worked great for that. If I wasn't using the adhesive, the peel and stick, I probably would have chosen a soft tearaway because the faux leather actually does have stretch to it. That really surprised me how much stretch it has to it. But giving good support will make sure that it stitches perfectly. And the other question I saw here, Eileen, that I just wanted to address was from Lori Lamb, I think. And so Lori said, what needle to use for faux leather? So your embroidery needle works great. So that's usually a light ballpoint needle. And I just use my 7511. It's not like super thick, like Eileen said, it's a very nice weight. So you don't have to have like a really heavy duty needle. So like your 7511, 80, 85, those sizes are work best for me. So what do you think, Eileen?
Yeah, that's what I use, the 7511 for sure.
For
so
everything.
Yeah. Monica wants to know what's the final size. So of the Natalie is 12 inches wide, 11 inches high, and 4 inches deep. So it's a nice size handbag, but here's the beauty. You are making the handbag. So if you want to make it a little smaller, then do so. And that's what I would do. I'm a petite person. So a bag that's 11 inches tall is a little too tall for me. My husband's like, you look like you're digging in a fishbowl because, everything just keeps swimming around in there. So I find that, 9 inches is about the tallest height that I like in a handbag. And, I'm sure that you would have great results doing that. Just take an inch or two off. And, I used to do a pretty funny presentation about handbags and finding the perfect handbag. And one of the ways to do that is by shopping for a handbag in a department store and going in and measuring the handbags that are there, finding one that you love, or even measuring the handbags that you already own. So let's say, you're a conservative person and you have 6 handbags in your closet, one of which you always use, and the other 5 are just there because you don't really know why, right? You bought them, you fell in love with them, you carried them maybe for a week or two, and then you moved back to your favorite bag. If you were to measure those bags, it's very likely that the difference between the bags is about maybe an inch in height, maybe a half inch, maybe an inch in depth, and so forth. Minute adjustments to a bag make all the difference. So measure your own bags, find out what you're comfortable with, what you love, and then just transfer those measurements, to a pattern that you're using. Frankly, all handbags start with a rectangle. And, if you resize that rectangle, you'll be in good shape. You want to keep it big enough so you can add some embroidery, though. That I know, right?
Absolutely. I agree. So, yeah. And I think so too. I think when you're just saying that, I'm kind of thinking of the handbags I have, and you're right. Yeah. They are all very similar in size. I guess you're gravitated to your favorite size. So you gravitate to that size.
Yeah.
So,
and when you make your own handbag, you can determine how big the pockets you want. Do you like zippers or not? So whatever you want. Let's see. Tracy Edward says, you mean the 20 bags we don't use? Yeah, I do. I was going to use a more accurate number, but you said it, Tracy, not me. There you go. And let's see. Did you say ballpoint needles on the vinyl?
Yeah, so when I say ballpoint your embroidery needle, everybody's embroidery needle is generally, not always, but it's generally a light ballpoint, so that you could use it in an instance where you would need something with a sharper point. But your regular embroidery needle that you're using for your regular projects will work fine. On the faux leather, I just wouldn't use the sharp point, since you want to minimize that hole in the faux leather. So, but your regular embroidery needle is generally light ballpoint.
Absolutely. And no harm in cutting a little tiny scrap of that vinyl and sewing straight lines on it. And you don't have to hoop it or anything like that. Just sew some straight lines on it with different size needles and see which one you like best. You're going to get the same results whether you're sewing or embroidering, right?
Good point. Good point. Yeah.
So that was so much fun. And but hey, one other product that we didn't even talk about is the Sallie Tomato pressing station that Sallie developed here with Dime, because she loved our pressing station, but she said, you kind of missed the mark.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. And there is a video on that. Do we want to play the video of Jess using the Sallie Tomato pressing station?
I think so.
So yeah, that's the pressing station demo video that we have. So coming up here in just 1 second.
Yeah, so let's see. Betty Stagner wants to know, do you use a walking foot when you make the bags? Well, if you're having some drag on the hoop, drag on the sewing portion, right, on your sewing foot, then you can switch to a Teflon foot if you have one. And if you don't, just put a piece of Scotch tape on the bottom of your regular sewing foot, and that will make a nice gliding surface, so you don't have to worry about it sticking to your foot.
That's a good tip.
Let's watch that totally tubular pressing station.
Hey everyone, my name is Jess from Sallie Tomato, and today I'm super excited to share with you one of the best kept secrets for making beautiful bags, the Sallie Tomato pressing station. It's so frustrating to press bags on a standard ironing board because it's difficult to maintain their shape and press hard to reach areas. Today I am super excited to share with you a solution for all of your pressing needs, our new innovative pressing station. This is an essential tool for bag makers and apparel sewing. I want to give a huge shout out to Dime for collaborating with us and making this product come to life. This pressing station is going to change how you iron and is one of our best kept secrets for making beautiful bags. So, what is the Sallie Tomato pressing station? It is an interlocking modular system perfect for adding shape and form to handbags, totes, and purses. You can easily press seams, gussets, darts, curved edges, sleeves, and bag corners. The thing I love the most about this pressing station is how easy it is to press difficult to reach areas and unique shapes. You can also use it on its side for pressing open seams and darts for a professional finish. You're going to find so many uses for this pressing station. It's super convenient to keep next to your sewing machine for a quick press, and it's a lot smaller than your standard ironing board, which can take up a lot of space and cause frustration in your sewing room. It's the pattern that determines the shape of your project, but it's impossible for your projects to look polished without pressing. Your seams will not lay flat, and your fabrics will look wrinkled and bubbled. It's the pressing and the finishing that adds the structure and additional form to your bags.
She's great, isn't she?
She definitely is. So, and I love her description of the pressing. So you've really got to press that bag. And so I love how she shows it with the your regular ironing board just isn't going to cut the mustard, right?
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So our pressing station features straight edges, hard edges for good reason, because, if you want to apply a crease to a corner of a bag, then the hard edge is what you need. But if you want to avoid adding a crease, then Sallie Tomato's boards are curved and their edges are beveled so that you don't get hard edges. Yeah, we had a lot of fun building that together. So if you already have the totally tubular pressing station, then you can just buy the Sallie Tomato boards. all those pieces are sold separately. So, you don't have to buy it all over again.
I love that. And I feel like the two are, I think people think that you should do one or the other, but because of the square and the round, if you're doing a lot of different things that you're ironing, not just bags, but other things, right, Eileen? Like those different shapes of the ends of the board really are functional for a variety of different products. So it's not really a one or the other. It's, when can I fit them all into my budget kind of thing. So, because they're all useful.
Absolutely. It's like your closet. You need the sneakers, the flip-flops, and the high heels. Not every day, but once in a while. Yep. Right. Lisa Garantino wants to know, sometimes her feed dogs leave teeth marks in her cork. That stinks. So then I would just put a piece of tearaway on top and the bottom, wherever your feed dogs are underneath, unless you have dual feed dogs, on top. So just cover your stitching with a very light tearaway so that it just rips off easily.
Yeah.
And Dawn Tennyson, she says pressing is almost the most important finishing to everything. So it most certainly is. I have a newbie quilter in my family who, a little north of 50, will say, we won't identify what year. She's just getting into sewing. And, when somebody of that age is introduced to sewing and quilting, they're shocked to learn that pressing is such a big part of sewing. And it really is. You have to have the right tools and you have to embrace the activity, right? You have to press if you want to have a professional finish, and you have to do it throughout the project, right?
You definitely do. So it is quite a bit of pressing, especially in handbag making, because you've got to press as you go. When you get to the end, some of those parts that you assembled earlier in the process are hidden in the interior of the bag. So you got to press as you go. So
you can't get to them anymore. Yeah, I actually like pressing. I enjoy it. Doesn't bother me. Most of my sisters also like to press. That's funny. It must be something in our childhood. But I don't remember a lot of pressing going on. Okay, so let's see. Do you know what day it is?
It is. Well, it's the last Thursday of the month, which is very important, right? Because of a particular project, right?
Right, the On the House. And, we've had a guest, she might be asleep by now. She's been waiting in the wings. We like to call it the green room. Well, guess what, folks? There is no real green room. She's just sitting out there in Netherland waiting, to be brought into the screen. So that good friend and exciting embroiderer is Sue Brown from OML Embroidery. So let's welcome in Sue. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I want to say straight up, those bags are gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I want to do a sew along.
Oh,
They're awesome.
That's awesome. I love that. Oh, and they love having you here. Let's see. Lisa said, Sue is in the cloud. And Robin Schreiber, Ella, they're all saying, hello, Sue. Hello, Sue. All your OML gang is here. And for those friends who aren't here, you friends who are here, tell them to come in. Right?
For sure, especially for Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I can't wait to see the project. I'm so excited.
And where's that going to be at 10 a.m.?
It at my machine. No, I'm just
I know.
an OML Embroidery YouTube channel.
Yeah, YouTube channel. Okay.
Yep.
And she kind of shared with me, OML gang, a little earlier, that you all aren't really sewing with her anymore. You come, you bring your breakfast, you're drinking coffee, you're talking amongst yourselves. She loves it. She loves it.
It's so much fun. It's our break, we call it. It's our time to just embroider. Sure. They all listen to what I'm saying and talk to each other. It's like a lovely community.
It's great. And you felt that, Sue. So, my hat goes off to you. Definitely. And okay, so Judy Whitaker says she loves the googly eyes in Sue's sewing and embroidery room. Oh yeah, look at those giant googly eyes behind her.
They glow in the dark too, just in case you were wondering.
That's cool.
I don't know that I would want that in my house. Hey, but what are you wearing?
Ooh, I am wearing the official OML Embroidery logo. So that's our chicken because we play chicken a lot. Of course, the crossed pins and bobbin chicken, and that the scissors are for applique chicken. So we play. I like to live on the embroidery edge, so I play a lot of chicken.
That's
And
awesome.
it's fun.
I love it.
Yeah,
Can we buy
it's
the
just
t-shirt?
part of the fun.
Yeah.
Pardon?
Can we buy the t-shirts?
Yeah, there's
can we buy
merch
them?
on the OML Embroidery YouTube channel, and it's on every video, and you can just pick it up, or sweatshirts, or I have a mug that's on the set every time I shoot something. So yeah, it's fun, and I love it.
I love that. I love
It's
that. Okay.
our gang
And Dolbeck,
members.
yeah, and Dolbeck says she loves your haircut. It is lovely. You are
Thank
styling.
you. I had it
Yeah.
really long, and I felt kind of witchy. So it was time for a little style. So thank you.
Well,
Thank
it looks so nice. It does.
Thank you.
Well, I
feel
know
better.
we're all here to show the on the house. But before we do that, we have to show what many of you have been stitching. So, here's the special. My goodness, right? So we have free shipping on everything, on all the handbag kits. Remember, you're going to get everything in there that we showed today.
Mm-hmm.
The embroidery collection is separate, but everything, you can just add that to the cart and you will be set. Oh, they're so nice, aren't they, Sue?
They're absolutely beautiful. Right now, I see fall and Halloween colors. I think that would be gorgeous.
Yeah,
I love it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so we saw that Harriet Ann Palmer did this first day of kindergarten t-shirt. Isn't that adorable? Yeah.
That was so cute. Love the dogs in the bus. Adorable.
Yeah, the dog days of summer. Super cute. And then Wendy will sew. So she did a set of towels. She did all 4 of the Sunny Girls. So here we have Summer, which she paired with a really pretty rose-colored terry cloth towel. And then Spring that's actually a warm brown. Maybe it looks gray on the screen, but it's actually a warm brown. I love that Spring Sunny Girl. She's so cute. Getting ready for summer. And here is Winter. And that blue is just a perfect match for Winter Sunny Girl, don't you think?
Yes, absolutely.
Beautiful.
So cute.
Yeah, just adorable. And then lastly is Fall. And she selected a kind of a hunter green. Now notice how, she selected the towel and then she matched her thread colors to, coordinate with the terry cloth towel. I love this idea. What a fun, easy way to use Sunny Girl. And now she's got a whole set of towels. She's starting gift making, I think. So great idea. She's got a whole
I love too the towel topper with the embroidery. So many times I embroider on my towels and your guests don't want to use them because they don't think that you can wipe your hands on the embroidery. And so having it at the top, I think that that's a really good place for the embroidery. And then that leaves the towel free for use.
Absolutely. And also, I don't like to dry my hands on embroidery. Do you? I mean, I just want to use the terry cloth.
Well, I would do it if it's a monogram. Yeah. Yeah.
What did you say, Sue? I'm sorry.
I said it feels like you're doing something wrong if you're wiping your hands on bad you. Yeah, I agree.
So Sarah J says, they're just for show. You don't use them.
No, you use them. Then you make another set.
Then you make another set, right? And Star Raymond, she loves all the Sunny Girls. Yeah, Wendy, you did a nice job, Wendy, for sure.
Absolutely.
We love that. Okay, so without further ado, here is our October project. No, it's not. This is Needleworks. Sorry about that. But this is Embroidery Gardens hand-sketched florals. Is that beautiful? I love these 2 pillows that Needleworks did. Very well done.
Very nice. Nice spring throw pillows.
Yeah, really nice. Okay, now I promise on the house is the next slide. Are we ready? There we go. So it is a 10 by 10 block. And you can do it in a 5 by 7 hoop, or you can do it in a big hoop. So she's got a 3D tulle skirt. She's got a mouse on the bottom, the stretching cat that we released earlier. Now he's flipped, he's mirror image, but he also has 2 different eye colors. So we edited that a little bit. We have spiders hanging from the ceiling, and of course the broom. It's got a purple handle, I think. Yeah. Oh, I had so much fun with this. And it is on our arch frame. I used the Sew Any Shape foam to give it body so that I could make the block larger than the frame, and it will just sit there and decorate, my mantle, right? Isn't that fun?
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. That
I
is
think
wonderful.
You're going to have a lot of fun with it, Sue. Okay, so let's take a look. So what you're seeing here is the 10 by 10. And that's the embroiderable area. The borders you add on a sewing machine after the fact. But the 5 by 7 users actually get a mini collection, 5 different embroidery designs in all the formats. And then you'll put it together following our instructions. So first, let's go ahead through the 10 by 10. You'll find placement guides are stitched on the tack down of the batting color segment. And those 2 placement guides tell you how big and where to place that wall fabric. In my case, I used orange. So you just, and all the measurements are provided, of course, in the downloadable instructions. And so you'll place your larger than needed piece of orange fabric and stitch the tack down, and then you'll trim it away at the bottom seam. And then you'll place right sides together your gray fabric. Now, I made mine just barely wide enough to get caught in that seam allowance. So in the instructions, it tells you to use a measurement that is larger than what I used. So you won't have this problem. You won't have to be as precise. You'll just, center it together and it'll work out. And then you're just going to stitch the mouse, the spider, and the boots and the skirt are one design. Well, obviously in this, it's all one design. And then the broom. And then after that, now this is a fun technique. So I took a little piece of adhesive water soluble stabilizer, about 3 inches wide by about a 1/2 inch. And then I scrunched my tool. You're going to use 2 5-inch by 15 inches of tool, and you layer them together and scrunch them up till they're about 3 inches wide. And then I did pin it, now that adhesive water soluble, it's tacky. So when I finger press that tool to this tacky surface, it does stay in place. A pin on each end did help for sure. And then I flip it over and place that onto the quilt block, just making sure that water soluble stabilizer is at the top edge of the block. And then the last step, the last color of the design is to stitch the tool to the fabric. Now in the 5 by 7, you'll do that on the sewing machine, but just as easy. Everything else is the same. So, and then trim it away, and then it's caught in the border. You don't even have to worry about it. You'll add your purple border and then your outer orange border. And then I made a facing on the bottom so that it could be finished on one edge. I finished the one edge and then right sides together. And then when I flip it up inside, I have a nice finished edge on the bottom. Let me take that off again so you can see. And it's caught, the foam is caught inside that facing. So super easy to do, but now, it all stays together and it's nicely finished on that side. And on the back piece, I just did a double fold hem. I didn't do a facing there, just, super easy. This is a decoration, right? It's not going to go into the laundry or anything like that. It'll just live on the mantle and then be stored away.
And Eileen, you stitched right on the foam? The foam was in the hoop and you stitched right on it? Oh, that's so nice.
No.
Okay.
No,
so how did you add the foam?
After the fact, after it came out of the hoop, right?
Awesome.
I could have, but I just used batting.
But either way, the foam is what's holding it upright.
Right. It's not adding like texture to the quilt block. It's just adding, whatever.
So cute. I love it.
Dimension.
I love it. I'd like to say, just before we finish, I'd like to say I'm very impressed with your applique chicken. Great job. That was awesome.
Oh.
Where it didn't quite match, you were close. That doesn't get any closer. That was good.
Oh, I know, baby. That was close. Through the years, I often had, you have to make 2, sometimes 3 of all these things. But I've learned, well, if you could just, an 1/8 of an inch You don't have to make another whole one. Time is
Yes,
precious.
I
Whose dog
agree.
is barking?
I'm sorry, that's my Odie,
That's okay.
my wiener dog. Yes.
All righty.
my-
Oh, they're so cute. Okay, so
He's-
let's just take a quick run through the 5x7 because you'll be doing a little bit more sewing. First, you're going to piece your two sections together. I give you the dimensions there, and you'll just kind of cut those diagonal fabrics and sew them together, and then you'll hoop individually for the witch boots, which also includes the applique skirt. Now remember, the applique skirt is raw edge applique because first of all, it's going to be covered with that tulle overlay. And this is a Christmas decoration. We don't need to be finishing edges or pre-cutting applique. This is down and dirty, right, Ashley?
Right, that's right.
Yeah. Okay, and then next up is the broom and then the mouse. And, so you'll just rehoop. And, I never want 5x7 users to be discouraged because truly they're better embroiderers than those that start out with a big hoop because they have to master the rehooping. Absolutely. Right. Yeah. Okay. And then the spider and the cat. Oh, they're so fun, aren't they? And then again, you'll finish it just like the 10x10 users did. All of that, all of those borders and so forth were done on the sewing machine and not on the what? On the embroidery machine. So that's fun, huh? So Saturday,
awesome.
Yeah, Saturday, 10 o'clock Eastern time, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. On the OML Embroidery channel.
Yeah. Do you think you have any orange fabric in your house?
Maybe. Not really sure. Halloween fabric. Yeah, right here. There's some.
Oh yeah, look, there's some right there for sure. Well, it's going to be great to see you and your whole team. I mean, your whole gang and what they do. It's going to be fun. I really want to encourage people to post on the Dime Sew Along because we love finding your embroidery designs and sharing them here with everybody on Thursday. So please, post with the Dime Sew Along, and we want to share them. We want to share them.
Absolutely.
Definitely. I'm going to be doing the 5x7 so we can work on placement and we can work with our pal. And
awesome.
Gives people encouragement. I agree with you. 5x7. I don't, when people say I only have a 5x7, you can do anything that I can do. I just have bells and whistles. You do it the way we always did it. So
that's right. Yeah. We all, well, not we all, but if you started 20 years ago, it was a 5x7. That was it. And we loved it.
Yeah. And we rehooped and rehooped for anything and everything. Right. So I agree. So I try to do the 5x7 so people who have a 5x7 can know exactly what to do and feel good about it.
Good. And so the embroidery design, now you'll have to go get that on Design's website. Remember, that's free and they're free all year. We're going to have 52 up there. It's one a week. So if you haven't taken advantage of it yet, please do. And if you're going to stitch along with Sue, we'll grab the design today, download it so that you can do that. And, one thing we didn't cover, did we cover, Ashley, on downloading embroidery designs?
We did not cover that. So do you want me to do that?
I think
before we go, or I could always post a video later. What do you think?
Well, Sue, I imagine you probably get some questions on how to download Dime's design. So would it be okay with you if we went ahead and showed that now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Every little bit helps.
All right. So let's do that, Ashley. Are you ready? I'm sorry.
Nope, I'm all ready.
Okay.
So when you purchase I'll back up here. So when we purchase a design from Dime that is a download embroidery design collection, you'll get 2 emails from Designs and Machine Embroidery. You'll get one that is your receipt for your purchase, and then a second email, which is the information for how to download your design. So in this email that you see here, this is the email that I received based on the purchase of the Sallie Tomato Handbag Embellishment Collection. You'll get the link to download it and also your serial number, and you'll need both of those things. So this link, sometimes you can actually click on it and it will open automatically in your web browser. But if it doesn't, for whatever reason, just copy this link, so that you can paste it inside of your browser. So open up the browser of your choice. Chrome works really well. So I'm just going to paste that there. And then when I hit the enter key, it will open up this page here. And this is basically telling me this is my zip file that we are going to use to download the design. So when I click this, it automatically starts the download. And you can see it's asking me where I want to put this. And so it doesn't really matter. You're going to install it from here. And so I'm going to go and put that in my downloads folder. And then when I click save, if you're inside of Chrome, it usually pops up down here in the bottom, letting you know when it's done. And then once it's all finished downloading, if you click this up arrow here, you can say to show in folder. And that'll take you exactly where that file was downloaded. So if maybe you didn't remember, it'll take you right to that location. And so that was in my downloads folder. You can see that pop up there, and there it is. And so I'm going to do a right mouse click, and on my Windows 11, I'm going to extract it. This is a zip file. So when you click extract, it'll ask you where you want to extract it. I'm just going to leave it the same location. And then once it's extracted, you have to actually run the setup file. So we're going to go inside of this folder here that we just extracted and choose this setup file. That's going to basically run a program that does all the work for installing the files. So when you have a file that is an exe file, your software, your antivirus is probably going to tell you, hey, this may cause issues. Are you sure? And you want to say yes. So answer yes to that question, and then you will see this page pop up. Now on this page, this is there's very important information here. So this is the name of the collection that I'm going to be installing. This tells me the destination. This is the default folder. If you ever install something, one of our dime collections, and you don't know where it went, you didn't look, check here. If you want to put it somewhere else, click this ellipse button, and then you can choose where you want to install it. I'm going to leave it in my C Dime Designs. That's where I have all of my designs. So then when I click the install, it's going to ask me which format do I want to install. So you can choose from any of these formats or as many as you want. So I'm going to choose the C2S that's native to our Dime software. So I always like to install this one and then install my machine format. When I click OK, it's going to say done. Now, if you have not entered a serial number yet, it would ask you for the serial number, and you would enter that serial number there. And when I scroll down, it put it in my folder here under Sallie Tomato. And so there are my designs. So make sure that you keep the serial number from that email so that you can enter that and download and actually enter the serial number. Once you install, if you go back and install again, you can actually choose a different format. So maybe you want to install your machine format, click OK. It's going to install it in the same location. It just says done. And then, wow, we're done. So the only thing that it didn't ask me for, since I had already installed this, was my serial number. So you will have to enter yours when you do the install. So hopefully that helps everyone. Eileen, get their Designs and Machine Embroidery designs downloaded and installed.
Absolutely. That's great. You know, we can't kind of explain often enough how easy it is to really use these designs. It can seem confusing, but truly it's just, download the file and then hit, double click on it and then just follow the prompts. You do have to give, as Jennifer Alexander says, you have to give the computer permission to install this. That's all you are doing at that one, that message that you get from Windows. It will say, do you want to do this? Yeah. You want to do it. That's what you want to do. But, when you download that C2S format, our native format, that's the one you really want to use, because when you take that into Embroidery Toolshed, our free sizing software program, then you have the freedom to resize those designs as much as you'd like. within reason, right? 20% is the norm, but you can go bigger than that on many of the embroidery designs as long as they don't have tiny little details. And, but you don't want to do that in your machine format. You want to do that in our native format, C2S. So that should be your go-to format. You can always save it again in Embroidery Toolshed in your machine format, right, Ashley?
Yes, absolutely. You can save it as many times as you want. I have multiple machine brands, so I usually go ahead and save it in the C2S. Then I do one machine brand, and then I install the next machine brand, and then that way I don't have to do any converting if I'm just stitching the design as is.
Awesome. That's great. Well, Sue Brown, I most certainly want to thank you for being our guest today, for waiting so long to come in. I know you were enamored with the handbags, but thank you for your patience.
Absolutely. That was thrilling to watch. I can't wait to make one of them. They are stunning. Absolutely stunning. Apologize for Odie barking. And while you were talking, I had a visit from Tank, our other rescue dog. So
how nice.
He was cute. Yes.
Yeah. We have dogs in the office every day. So luckily, so far we haven't had one come in the video room. They can't open the doorknob yet, but someday I imagine they're almost at the point of running the company.
Weenies bark all the time, so especially when Dawn leaves for work, they bark all the time. So everyone's used to it. And I don't know if you noticed, someone in the comments said, "Oh, Tank's going to start barking now too." Yeah, I know.
They knew who it was. They knew who it was, right?
My boys.
Okay, so let's see. Jennifer says she uses Dime software now. It's so much better than what she was using before. I agree. Whatever that was, this is better. Yep. And then let's see. Jennifer also wants to know, she's going to go find some tulle. Well, let me tell you, they sell mini little rolls now in a lot of the craft stores that are like 6 inches wide, 5 inches wide, because people like to use them to decorate packaging. So you don't need yardage. You just need, and you can make it a mini skirt. It doesn't have to be the old lady witch length. You could make it short. So don't worry about it, or just skip it. Use a pattern fabric, right, Sue?
You could. Also, the dollar store would be great to get some tulle. You can usually find it there.
Probably,
which is nice.
Probably. Yeah. Well, thank you both, ladies. Ashley, you did a great job today. It's always a pleasure to have you on. And then next week we're going to have a month-long monster mash.
Yes. Yes. I love it.
I know. It's all about monster hoops, right? So we're going to be hooping all kinds of stuff all month long. So bring your hooping questions. And if you have been waiting or hoping to get a sale on a monster hoop, this is it. So you can join us next week and we will have a blast in we'll have a monster mash.
Yeah.
Awesome. Love it. Looking forward to that. Awesome.
Okay, everybody. We'll see you next week, 1:00. Thanks for joining us today.